Ladies and gentlemen, the American German Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. Thank you, Josh Wentz, for the new intro. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Park Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. Well, the big story today is obviously Israel and Hamas. It's my understanding 9 Americans have been killed. There's Americans that are still there. There's Americans that are part of the hostages. And if you didn't know this, on Friday, and this is a holy time of the year for the Orthodox Jews. They just got finished off a week of living in a nomadic manner. They do it. They live in tents and whatnot. I forget the name of the holiday.
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur is the day, but this was a whole week of celebration. And the symbolism of this on Friday is same time as the 1973 Yom Kippur War. And the bottom line is this was mean and nasty, kidnapping babies, taking women and children, infiltrating Israel all over the place, and it's bad. Now, you can't make this up. The Department of Defense actually issued an X that asked Israel not to retaliate and use restraint. Apparently, they changed their mind because they took it down. And just for the record, do you love the war and bad economy, the wars and the bad economy all in one with Joe Biden? I mean, the Ukrainian war, he wanted it to happen. Remember, Susan Rice, who's running the country, when she was National Security Advisor, nobody talks about this, under Barack Obama, said that we can live with a nuclear North Korea. Well, good, because it's going to happen. Iran, let's go nuclear. Let's give them billions of dollars. China doing whatever they want. I mean, it's truly a cluster F around the world because Joe Biden is the president of the United States. And he's a cluster F. Babies being held hostage. Women being held hostage. I mean, it's crazy, folks. Crazy. The Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh, watched it all on television with glee in Qatar. Why don't we bomb him? It's clear as day. Iran helped. Hezbollah, Hamas, all of them, they don't do anything without Iran. I mean, Iran sponsors these folks. I mean, it's sickening. Meanwhile, guess what Joe Biden was doing? He was having a barbecue at the White House. You can't cancel a barbecue, Joe? Jeez, oh, Pete. 2 top Israeli commanders were killed during the early strikes. But folks, this is full war. Right now, as I'm talking to you, it is 10:40 a.m. on Monday. They are getting the tanks ready to go into Gaza Strip. They are going to seize the Gaza Strip. Guess what, Palestine? This is going to do the opposite of what you wanted. Forget about it. Never going to get trusted again. Musk is taking down Ayatollah's ex-posts. Good for him. Meanwhile, Congress is getting ready to do something. God only knows. But, of course, we have the squad and the rest of them. They've always backed the Palestinian state. You ready for this? You ready for this? Thomas Massie, 4th Congressional District Congressman, who I'm going to run against, hasn't said a word about this. He's tweeted or X'd, but he hasn't done anything else. I mean, remember Dan Goldman, the guy that was point man on the Hunter Biden hearings? This guy was in Israel going to if I remember correctly, it was a bar mitzvah of a family member. He's apparently getting out safe. What does the United States do? They send an aircraft carrier, the Gerald Ford, to the Mediterranean. Typical of Joe Biden. He does things after the fact. Boy, the military complex has got an erection over all this, don't they, Josh Wentz? Ukrainian war, this war, oh my gosh, man, make the bombs. And I also thought about this, Josh. I wonder if we got enough bombs to help anyway. Right. Sorry, Israel, we've given all our bombs to Ukraine and Zelensky. Right. See if he's got a few to hand over to you. All right, you've heard me say this all the time, that politicians will not sacrifice their lives, much less their careers. How beautiful is it that Matt Gaetz says He doesn't care if he loses his seat over everything he's done with McCarthy or kicked out of Congress or loses. For two reasons. One, he'll serve in the Trump administration, but this is the way you're supposed to do it. Who gives a damn? When I'm in Congress and there's a big vote that needs to be done, I'm not going to worry about re-election. In fact, I've always said if you do a good job, you don't have to worry about re-election. Meanwhile, McCarthy says he's probably done. I mean, come on, you go from Speaker of the House, humiliation, defeat, he's probably done. And just think, the jobs, making money these SOBs can get after they leave Congress. Lots of good jobs. Ann Coulter's a skank. You know why I call her skank? She just says stuff without any credibility at all. You ready for this? She blames Trump for the crime in the Democratic cities. Really, Ann? And you know what's so funny? Ann's one of those people that thinks she's the smartest in the room. She just thinks that I'm so smart. You're a long-haired blonde bitch skank, Ann. I love that there's no FEC rules on this. Joe insults blacks and Hispanics. I think I missed this. Somebody said it happened a couple weeks ago, but I think I missed it. He says the problem with blacks and Hispanics, they don't have high school degrees. Chicken prices are going up. First meat, steak, hamburger, all of it. Now even chicken is going up. How do you like him now, folks? Most people watching this, I assume you don't like Joe Biden. Somebody might be watching my show for the first time, and you're a Joe Biden fan. Why? Josh Wentz, you can't make this up. I saw somebody said that a Pennsylvania voter said they would vote for Joe Biden if he was dead over Donald Trump. That's how bad they hate Trump. Debt spiral. It's going down, down, down. The real debt in this country, unfunded federal liabilities like federal pensions, it's not 31 million. It's 93 trillion. Not 33 trillion. It's 93 trillion. By the way, that's how far the sun is from the earth. So you won't forget that. I think it's 93 million miles. 93 million miles, not trillion miles. All right. Rand Paul thinks Fauci should be in jail. Well, that's nice, Rand. But Senator Paul, can you speak out and do something besides just Fauci, 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 Fauci? He's a one-trick pony these days. Fauci, 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 Fauci. By the way, I'm all for against Fauci. But can't you multitask, Rand? Can you multitask? Unbelievable. SEC apparently is going to pick on Jim Biden, but you know what? That's just hairdressing. That's just salad dressing. That's just make it look. See, we're being legitimate. Meanwhile, the Saudis pumping water in Arizona, and I read this, and apparently going to make them stop, and I'm like, what the hell? The Saudis pumping our water and taking it to Saudi Arabia? I don't understand what the hell's going on here. I didn't understand the story, to be candid with you. Musk's, the Twitter deal did not work out well for him at all. And apparently, some of the banks are going to twist his gonads a little bit in the near future. We'll see what happens. Jeremy Grantham is a famous, investor. He says Standard & Poor's got a crash coming, 20 to 50%. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for weighing in on that. Health insurance must now count co-pays as patient costs. You know what? They just suck. Insurance sucks. J.P. Morgan predicts stocks will plummet 20%. September jobs came out Friday. Good news, 336,000 job increase. But you always got to put that in perspective of how many jobs we lost 2020 through 2022. And this is another thing that cracks me up. Unemployment at 3.8%. It was always around 7s. How they make unemployment, how they calculate unemployment is a joke now. They take this out, they take this out. Unemployment today is not the same as unemployment in 1970. 90% of COVID deaths, Josh Wentz, were people 60 and over. That's right. And I'll bet you the other 10% were people that were obese. The FBI is coming out. We already knew this, but the FBI knew every single thing about Hunter's laptop and everything else and did nothing. Trump business licenses are not going to get revoked pursuant to a Court of Appeals decision. Yay, yay, yay. Mar-a-Lago document case is going to be delayed. because of all the other legal matters. The border wall sell-off. Right before he approves the border wall, he was selling off the border wall. And remember, he was still paying contracts. Gutfeld went off and said it's time for a second revolution. Civil war. I agree with you, Greg. Black woman suicide. You can't make this up. This young lady hangs herself in a tree in her front yard. That's sad, right? Immediately, the racist blacks said, what's going on here? What's going on here? Like the Ku Klux Klan hung her. El Chapo's sons. Now, this is an awful story, but it's also kind of funny in a sick freaking way. You ready for this, Josh Wentz? Yeah. El Chapo's sons are killing their captains who are disobeying orders by not smuggling fentanyl in the United States. In other words, the drug cartels of El Chapo have said no more fentanyl in the United States. Right. And some of the captains are ignoring that. So El Chapo's sons are playing quote unquote good guys and killing them for doing the unthinkable.
Bizarre world, dude. It's bizarre.
You can't make this up. Army is cutting 10,000 special forces. Do you know how stupid this is? If there's one area that we need to be strong as hell, it's special forces. Why? Because we're not going to fight, line up 200,000 troop battles anymore, right? Commander, they say, Josh Wentz, that he bit more people than even reported and that he was mistreated. There was a video that caught Joe Biden seemingly kicking Commander. Yeah. Folks, if you hated Michael Vick, all you liberals that hated Michael Vick for what he did to dogs, now we know why Commander bites. Yeah. Joe kicks him. I wish Commander would bite him. Florida pastor stole about $1 million from Home Depot. He's pled not guilty. You know what you do in that case? You try the case and say you did it for God and hope for the best. Nikki Haley is in front of DeSantis now in polling. When is Ron going to drop out? Smith & Wesson celebrated their opening of their Nashville 600,000 square feet manufacturing facility. They moved from Connecticut to Tennessee where they wanted to be loved. You ready for this? A Walmart executive believes that Ozempic is causing grocery sales to decline. You think? I know a couple people on Ozempic. They don't eat anything anymore. Pharmacy, there are big walkouts at CVS and apparently Walgreens today. Pharmacists are tired of their working conditions and everything else. You know what, Josh? I don't know if you know this, but pharmacists are pretty important to make sure they get it right. And if a pharmacist is overstressed and you're allergic to morphine and they give you morphine and you die, will you make sure you call me? All right. Prisoner phones. Apparently, a lot of burner phones were discovered when we had that national, all the national alert goes off on phones. Hey, I wonder how many spouses and boyfriends and girlfriends got busted with burner phones. Did your burner phone go off? Skittles apparently are going to be outlawed in California. And I talked to this about my liberal. Remember, my wife is liberal but not woke. And she says, Eric, Skittles are toxic. I said, what? She goes, yeah, they're toxic. They're letting kids eat toxic Skittles. Yeah. So then ban them suckers. Yeah. 96 trillion, I already covered this, is our real national debt. Isn't that nice to know? Democratic socialists in this country cheering. By the way, this is a group that the posse likes, cheering, the squad, cheering what was going on in Israel. Messed up stuff. Money supply is shrinking. This spells bad news for our economy. Menendez, apparently there's a videotape releasing where she caused a crash and killed somebody. But you know what? I want to say this about Menendez. I'm going to play Joker's Wild and go off. How crazy is it, Josh Wentz, that nobody is up Menendez's ass to resign when he's indicted for some real good, bribery? There's more hoopla over Trump than Menendez. Menendez gets a pass. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. You have a great day.